Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Happy to have you with us and have you as part of the 410 Real Estate family. We are here today learning a little bit more about Raleigh, North Carolina with Will Draper from Draper & Co. at Fathom Realty. Will, thanks for hanging out with us today.
Thanks, Jason. It is a pleasure to be here, my friend.
Awesome. Well, we're going to talk all about Raleigh and how it compares to what we're dealing with here. But before we do, wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you guys to subscribe. If you're not already doing so, hit the notification bell so you're up to date on what's going on. I never know where it's going to end up on the screen, but we'll all just point around and figure out where it's at. And yeah, so that other folks that you know might know about Will and know about Raleigh, North Carolina. So let's just jump right into it. Tell us about Raleigh. Tell us about yourself, first of all, Will.
Okay, my name is Will Draper. I live in a town outside of Raleigh called Wake Forest. I am happily married and I've got two kids, 10 and 11, a couple fur babies at home, and I enjoy going to the beach because Raleigh is about 2.5 hours from the beach and about 2.5 to 3 hours from the mountains. So we kind of live in the middle part of the state where we can be in the ocean or be in the mountains pretty darn quickly. So it's a great location. And there's a lot of tech companies and stuff moving to Raleigh. It keeps being rated in like the top 10 best places to live by Forbes and Money Magazine. So it was an area I moved to in 2005, grew up in Virginia originally, and moved here, fell in love, started a family, and opened a real estate business.
In that order, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, in that order.
Yeah, so I just learned something in the first 2 minutes of our discussion today. I didn't know there were mountains in North Carolina. See how much I don't know about the East Coast?
Yeah. So on the Appalachian Mountains run through the western part of North Carolina. I actually got my master's degree from Appalachian State, which is in Boone, which is in the mountains. And I would go snowboarding like 3-4 times a week. So we've got mountains and we've got snow.
Only because I have friends from Michigan do I have to point out Appalachian State's win over Michigan not too long ago. So
that's right.
I don't know much, but I know about that stuff at least, right?
Yep.
Well, cool. Yeah. People think the same about Arizona. They think we're just a desert where we all wear cowboy hats and pull our horses up and tie them up when we go into the restaurants. But
you don't do that.
We have the largest concentration of ponderosa pine trees in the world in northern Arizona. So
cool.
It's 9,000 feet within about 3 hours ish of Phoenix. So
okay, our mountains are not that big.
Oh, okay. You have hills in North Carolina.
Yeah. We get up about 5,400 feet, maybe 5,500. Like we don't have any like super big peaks. It's more like rolling hills. Yeah.
I think our biggest is Humphreys. It actually was a volcano. It's like 12,000 feet or something like that. It's crazy. But
cool.
Anyway, we can talk all day about nature and the wondrous mountains, but let's talk about real estate. So what's going on in Raleigh, and is it as challenging as it is here for us in Phoenix?
Yeah, so the Raleigh real estate market over the past couple of years is, kind of seen what everybody else has. When 2020 hit and the pandemic hit, things just kind of got turned upside down. And we noticed a lot of people flocking to the area when they no longer had to live where they had to live and people could feel free to move. We saw a gigantic influx of people moving here. And since I moved here in like 2005, we have on average 65 people per day moving to the Raleigh area since 2005. So for the past 15, 16 years, we've just had this huge influx of people, and it just kind of timed right with the pandemic and everything. And, at the start of 2020 to right now, it's been 2 years. We used to have, 5,000, 6,000 homes for sale at any given time in the Wake County area. So in Raleigh, there's Raleigh, and then there's a bunch of suburbs, and then there's the county that Raleigh's in, and then Durham is, the next county over, which is where Duke University is, and Chapel Hill is over in Chatham County. But in Wake County, like Raleigh proper, 5,000 to 6,000 houses at any time was like pretty normal. Today, there's like 600. So that's like a massive drop. And the price points, we used to get rated as like the least cost of living, like get more for your money and all these different magazines. The average price or median price of a home here 2 years ago was $320,000. Now it's $435,000. And that's on the conservative side. If you go into like these suburbs, so the suburb I live in Wake Forest, the pricing was about $300 2 years ago, and today it's $550,000. So we've seen 25% year over year for 2 years in a row. So in a lot of the areas, home prices have gone up 50% in 2 years, but on average, like if you look across the whole area, it's about a third. Like, every neighborhood's going to be different. Like One house that is inside the belt line, meaning closer to downtown, could run you, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000, but it's probably only 400 or 500 up where I live. So the pricing is very different based on what part of town you're in. And that has to do with schools and proximity and transportation and access and all that type of stuff. But we've just seen a huge shift, like most of the country, in that we have a very depleted inventory and our housing prices have gone up, hence supply and demand. Lots of multiple offers. And like some states, we don't have escalation clauses. Like I know some other states have that, kind of protects buyers. We don't really have that here. So, it's gotten kind of out of hand on some of these properties. Every listing we've sold has been multiple offers and over list price for the past 2 years. The highest I believe we saw was $150,000 over list for something that's like $400,000. So you see these on like $1 million properties that people are posting like in California and like some of these more expensive markets.
Right.
They're going 100, 200 over, and you're like, that's a lot. But when you like put that in perspective, these houses are a quarter to a third the cost and still going over that same amount. So there's just heavy, heavy competition. And in the town I live in, there's 60 houses for sale. 60.
Out of curiosity, how many realtors are in your town?
Well, I think there's 20,000 in the state, and there's probably 5,000 to 6,000 in the Raleigh area. I'm not sure about specifically like Wake Forest where I live, but like the general Triangle MLS, I think it's like 5,000 or so.
Well, the reason I'm going there is how many deals do you and your team do, Will, in a year?
Well, we are on number 18 for this year. So
that just provides people perspective that are watching why we're talking to Will and not another realtor in the area, because Will knows the market better than others because he's doing 18 deals when there's 60 homes for sale. And I know that's not just in your town that you're doing those deals, but the average, you got 5,000 agents sharing that many deals with 5,000 agents. That doesn't leave much for the rest of them if you're doing 18 of them,
Yeah. We've been fortunate so far this year. I mean, I think we're averaging one every other day. And it's me and it's to be honest, it is me and an assistant and then a part-time showing assistant.
Therefore the and co, right?
Therefore the and co, we are actively adding team members. We've been doing a bunch of interviews recently. So we've got offers out to one that we know they're going to accept, and we're about to put 2 more offers out. So we're growing the team quickly because I personally can obviously only manage so much business, and we have a lot of demand. There's people we just can't service that we've been passing on to other really good agents in the area that might need a little more business. So it just kind of made sense to kind of bring them into the fold because you're servicing a lot of families in this area. And if things keep going the way they're going, gosh, we could probably be helping 100 families this year when there's only 60 listings for sale at any given time. So that's a pretty good ratio.
Yeah, very good. Real quick question, just to piggyback on what you said there's 600 listings on the market. I think I heard you say. What is the monthly turnover? So how many months supply is that? Half a month? What is that?
About 10 days.
10 days of supply. Okay.
10 days of supply countywide.
And I thought we were hurting here. We're at about 0.9 months. So whatever that works out, 25 days or whatever. But
we've been at less than 2 weeks of inventory for probably 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Pretty
crazy. Yeah, very similar to what we're hearing out here. I mean, our median price has gone from 350-ish 2 years ago to about 515 now. So very similar growth to what you're seeing. Yeah. And very similar setup. We have Phoenix and we have all these suburbs, in which I live in one of them. And then as you get further out, prices go down. But even those prices, you could be 45, 50 minutes from central Phoenix now and still be paying almost $500,000 for a house. And Phoenix used to be known as the place to go in terms of affordable housing, So
and the town I live in, for some reason, it's ending up being one of the most expensive suburbs of Raleigh. And I'll just share some personal stuff here because I think personal stories are great. I kind of saw a lot of this coming. So me and my wife and my family took the opportunity to move in 2020. So we were one of the people that was like, all right, I see something going on here. Yeah, you too. Yeah. I was like, let's give this a shot. So we got in a house. I won't give like the specific area or the price, but we got into a house that was, fairly reasonable. And since that time, other houses that have sold, when I run my comps now on everything that's happened, even just in the past month, we easily have increased the value of our home by 50%.
Me too. Yep.
in 12 months or 14 months, 50% increase.
Mine's almost, yeah, about a year and a half or so, because it was March of 20 that we moved. But yeah, 50%. It's nuts.
Yeah,
Nuts.
it's crazy. So, but and a lot of people are like, that's great, but where am I going to go? And we have done a really good job of getting pretty much every buyer we have is in a house right now or under contract for a house, or we're just start actively shopping. We're really leveraging our relationships and our connections with existing agents in the market, as well as the new construction communities. We've been waiting on 2 or 3 communities to open up to release a few hundred houses this year. They're starting to open up, and we've built some good relationships. So we're able to slide in there before things hit the market a lot of times. And we've been really successful with getting them all under contract. We haven't had anybody looking for a house more than 2 months. Wow. Once you start looking, we get them under contract pretty quickly. And it goes back to, relationships. When you do a lot of business in an area, you can carry, I guess, a little bit more weight when you're dealing with other agents. So
yeah, start to be known as the guy that can get things done, right?
That's right. That's right.
Well, if you don't have anything else that you specifically want to touch on or any questions for me, well, I'll leave that to you. Any questions for me, or do you have anything else?
So give me a quick recap of what's going out there. I know you said it's kind of similar to here, but like what's the feel in the market there?
Well, I think the feel is very much what I kind of hinted at, which is Arizona used to be the place to go in terms of low cost of living. And for people here, we're having to get over the fact that that's not the case anymore. Right. We have so many transplants from California and New York and Chicago that are coming in, like you said. I just had one of my agents put an offer in $50,000 over the list price. The seller countered back, asking for $250 more, and it sold for $300 over list at the end of the day. So
wow,
here's my buyer's agent going, yeah, we got in 50 grand over. We're good. We waived the appraisal. That's fantastic, and lost by $250,000 still. So yeah, it's nuts. But what we're seeing also is rents. I don't know how you guys are doing with a rental market, but our rents have skyrocketed from $1,700 a year ago to $2,300 average now. And most investment owners, most of them are good, so they'll increase a little bit if they have a great tenant in place. But some of them are like, "Oop, I'm up $600. Cool, let's renew at that." And so people are stuck because you have to tell them $600 more for their rent, and they look out and they're like, "I'm not going to pay that," and then they go looking, and it's like, "Well, I guess I am going to pay that because there's no other place to go." So both the rental side and the sales side, cost of living has gone tremendously higher. And I think that's kind of my constant education moment with my clients is we need to get past that idea that we can get a house for 200 grand in Arizona now. That's just not the case anymore. Yeah. And we had it good for so long, and at some point it has to come in line with other places,
Yeah, a lot of people did, and it's a new environment. It requires new strategies. It requires tenaciousness. It requires being ahead of the market, knowing how to find off-market opportunities where you can. It's just a different game. We're in a skills-based environment now. I think for a long time, we probably had a lot of people that may not have been that great at their job that were getting by really well because it was a pretty easy market. I feel like we're in a very difficult market right now, and it's definitely skills based on both sides. Anybody can sell a house.
I was going to say, even on the seller side, right? Because I don't want to be the seller that has 20 offers that I got to figure out what all of them mean and what they are and who's better than what. And
I'll give one more story. I know we got to cut this off here in a second, but one more story is I was meeting with one of our seller clients last week, and we were doing final staging prep. So we do staging prep in 3 different scenarios. We do an initial walkthrough with them and kind of give them, hey, here's the punch list of everything that I want you to do before we take this to market. And then we come in about 2 weeks later, 3 weeks, depending on what the time frame is, just do a quick little check-in, see where things are at, answer any questions. And then the round 3 is, okay, check off all the projects are done, staging's ready, and we bring in our crew, and we have a truckload full of stuff that we come in and help kind of specially stage the houses, comforters and towels and knickknacks and like stuff to just make the house like really spot up and shine, right? And I walked into the house, and my clients were like, yeah, our friends that are realtors are like, why are you making us do so much? Why are they making you do so much stuff? All of my listings, sell in the first weekend for however over, and he's making you do all of this stuff. And like, that stuff matters. Like, it's all about presentation, right? So I feel like a lot of people are kind of getting lazy, and they're just like, it'll sell, so I'll just put it up there. They don't price it right. They don't do the pictures the right way. Yeah, you can hire a photographer, but how good is that photographer? They're not doing video. They're not doing staging. They're not doing all these other marketing activities. They're just kind of letting it go. And I think it really does a disservice to sellers by not going that extra mile, especially now. I feel like if you go the extra mile now, you're just going to get so much more than if you just put a sign in the yard, take some pictures and put it in the MLS and then pray that it sells. You do those four, yeah, it's going to sell, but you cost your clients 10, 30, 40, 50, $250,000 if you don't put in the extra effort. And I think we're definitely in a skills-based environment, and being able to show people your value on both sides of the equation is going to be a game changer. And I think we're going to see a lot of attrition over the next 3 to 5 years from agents that frankly probably just can't hack it.
Yep. And like you said, having a team behind you is a key thing. And so you growing your team, we're growing our team here at 410. So that's going to be key. You know, teams are kind of going to be the way to go because you've got a much smoother experience and all that. So I think you're right. I think the dynamics of the traditional real estate agent or brokerage models are going to start looking a lot different in the next few years. I'm excited about it because I think you and I and other people who listen to the same folks we do are kind of ahead of the curve. So I'm excited to see what's happening there. So Will, I appreciate you hanging with us. One thing I didn't mention, I'll give you a plug too. Will's also a new coach with the Tom Ferry organization, just like me. So we're excited to do that. So definitely, if you're in the Raleigh area, know anybody going that direction, or just have questions about investing or anything in Raleigh, I would definitely encourage you to reach out to Will. He knows his stuff, and we'll make sure his contact info is put in the description field and on all of our social posts as well. Thanks again, Will. If this was helpful for you guys watching the video, share it so people know about Will. And we'd love to meet your friends and family. Take good care of them. So we'll see you again on our next video.